Okay, it's another video. Um, it's a late night talk again. It's nearly 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, and yeah, I want to talk about that. People come, people go, and what it's taught me throughout these years, and how sometimes it can affect relationships, but just from my past personal experience and what's happening now recently, what I've noticed. Okay. Okay. So, you know, sometimes late at night, the truth, it hits hard. We start to think about the certain people that were familiar, along our lives for however long. Okay. I've recently experienced this because someone from school, someone that I always kind of easily talk to whenever, the fan, how do you say it? The something hits the fan, okay? Or someone who suddenly drifts back into your life, comes back, drifts again, just like a tide, it goes in and out. But yeah, I'll give you guys a whole breakdown. So basically, the the law was, um, this person, I've known them since high school, right? And as you guys know, I left high school in year 12. Like I didn't finish year 12, and this person, uh, they, uh, you could say they were a friend, right? But in a sense where it was not like friend, but kind of like once a year for maybe a month, we would hit it off and talk a lot, and then not talk again until like the next year, etc. And every time I talked to her, it always felt natural, nostalgic, and it's just like I could talk about anything, right? Like I could talk about anything. And then recently, like very recent, maybe like 2 month recent, where I started really talking to her again, like just out of nowhere, right? And yeah, it just felt like I was really revisiting my old self and like who I used to be. And I don't know if I like that because, you know, I always thought that I was running away from that version of myself and didn't want to have any bridges that connect back to that person in that old world. But yeah, it seems like the universe has its ways, right? So I was in Thailand. Uh, it was my last month in Thailand, and I can't exactly remember when, like she reached out, but maybe like halfway through the last month of Thailand, and yeah, she like followed me again, and like I wasn't thinking of really like texting her back or trying to start something because I always told myself that I didn't want to start a relationship until I essentially become the version of myself where I'm happy, where I know that I, I have what I want and didn't get distracted. But also something I learned in Thailand was you kind of just have to go with the flow and take it as it is. Some people are good, like let them come in and these type of things, right? So I thought, okay, maybe this time is okay, it's good, maybe it's different, maybe like I see the patterns, maybe it's meant to be where it's meant to come back. Yeah, but sometimes that the heart just like it works differently here than up here in your brain, essentially, right? So yada 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 yada. We talk, and like how people do it. And then I went on. I don't know if you could call it. Um, Personally, me, I would call it a date because two people. You know what I mean? But we went out, okay? And I thought maybe there's something there. Like we talked. Well, essentially, I thought we talked like more, more of like not just friends. And then one day, I essentially, I guess you could say, opened up. I told her I was interested, that uh, I was just interested. Like I didn't say, "Oh, I like you" or "I love you" or whatever, right? I just said I'm interested in getting to know you more than a friend, because I told myself I don't really want to be making friends like with the opposite people, because you know, like I don't have the energy for all that, right? And then she said, you know, like what they always say, they're not emotionally ready, blah 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 blah. And there was some instances where you start to get silence, like where they just kind of go ghost mode, disappear, whatever, for a few days. And then this essentially is when I really start to think a lot, where like I, I don't know about it. I I probably misread it or whatnot. Okay, but the big shift was when she actually replied again to me. Like something was off, right? I didn't feel I didn't feel like that old version of when we did talk is there now. Yeah, like I didn't feel that anymore. Like the warmth wasn't there. Like whenever I replied or thought of something to reply, it felt where it was coming from a place of um like a stranger, like I was distant, and like I don't really enjoy having this type of feeling, but it felt like uh she mentally left the lobby, she left the chat, she disappeared, you know? But sometimes the conversations were lively, good, but realistically, the connection is gone, okay? And over the past few days, I've really thought, why is it that maybe I miss this person? But I really do think because, she reminded me of like this past version of myself in the past world I used to live in, which which I don't really like, but just because of I wanted to build relationships with other people, I allowed this into my life, you know? And yeah, I think that's something about, what it really taught me was that is that your heart thinks that familiar, oh my god, what the fuck? Familiarity, we think equals destiny, but it doesn't. We think comfort is alignment. We think history is future. But, these are not aligned. These are not the same, right? So I went back to my principles. So right now, I do feel okay. I don't feel as bad anymore because I went back to my roots, back to what got me out of a lot of bad things, which was stoicism, right? Like, I don't have to shut down my emotions, but I go back to the dichotomy of control where did I show up? Like, how did I respond? How did I like recover? Or what inputs did I put in to essentially try and get back the outputs, right? But I can't control the outputs of another person's emotions. You know what I mean? Like, I can't control their feelings if they're ready for whatever it is in their life. If they're able to be consistent, I can't force a person. Like, I don't want to be forcing them. I want them to essentially want to be happy to do that back. You know, that's the type of person you want to be with. But you learn, and I've learned a few things with a short time with this person, and yeah, it's good. It's not too bad. But I do like this line: "Don't wish for people to act a certain way. Accept what they do, and you'll stay peaceful." Like, you know, like these type of the thinkings and ideologies do go a long way in someone's life, which is my life. Maybe it'll help your life. I'm sure it will. And you know, why do people come and go? Really, really. Maybe this is why I'm not the best with relationships, because I'm so detached from other people in my life. But you know, they're the time you spend with them, they're there to teach you lessons, right? Good or bad, doesn't matter. All lessons are good lessons because the good lessons teach you why it's good, and the bad lessons teach you not to do it again, which is good. Also, it teaches you that, you know, you used to have this old version of yourself that they knew, and every time you connect back with them, you tap back into that old world, which can either be good or bad. You know, it's good for nostalgia, but it's not good for like wanting to uh go past your limits, right? And then I realized that this person is not going to be that person for me. She was more of like a mirror of the type of person I became over this past year where I left school. Like all the different values I had, how I could handle detaching from certain, you know, certain relationship issues or certain emotional issues, and allow me to be grounded within myself and my emotions, right? It's not really a loss. It's more of like transitioning into bigger and better things, you know? And I decided to let go without resentment or anger towards anyone, because you know, even I understand myself. It's like at this age, at 18, you don't even. Most people, they're not self-aware or know themselves, you know. And I I do wish that they this person, you know, finds their potential and whatever, and yeah, that life goes on peacefully. Um, it's good. Okay. So, what this experience realistically taught me is not to over attach to potential, where, in this sense, the potential that this can go somewhere. don't romanticize people just because they're familiar, right? Like, let's say you have a friend. Just because that friend talks to you and is familiar, don't romanticize that, because you could be getting the wrong signals and feelings. Don't chase a person that naturally decides to drift without a care in the world about you as a person too, because sometimes that is disrespectful to yourself and your time, right? And think about it. This is a really big one, okay? I can't stress this enough. Like, you know, when when someone is silent and they don't even care to say something back to you, it already provides you an answer that this person does not care. Because a caring person that wants something to work also will try, even with the slightest energy, not just dead silence, right? And that when we're young, so many people are actually meant to pass through our lives and teach us lessons. That's the most important, that we learn the lessons from the actual people within, the short time we have with them in our lives. And a lot of these people, they don't stay because it's just how it is, you know. And yeah, I'm I'm just grateful that it was and it wasn't. I'm grateful for the times, you know, I experienced and had. And yeah, I'm just grateful for being able to really understand myself and being aware of all the situations I face, you know, and not hold back. I really want to ask you guys, the audience, what are some issues or experiences that you've faced that maybe it's a similar story, you know? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is not a one off thing. This is a pattern with a lot of young men and young women about how they treat relationships and other people, but they're not aware of it. If this sounds like you, subscribe and comment below. And yeah, let's chat. Maybe even follow me on Instagram, because um it's much easier to connect there on Instagram than on YouTube, right? Just say you came from my YouTube and I'll talk to you about if you have some issues or whatnot. It's always good to talk about it. Like, you might think because you're a guy, don't talk about it to other people, or you just post a video like this where you're not talking about it with other people, but you're projecting yourself out into the known internet space, right? So that's just a little late night insight talk. Um, yeah, I'm gonna try and post some more videos whenever something pops up in my mind, or when I have progress with uh my business endeavors. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.